Have you been thinking about starting a side hustle or small business, but every time you try to work out where to begin, you end up with even more questions? Should you start a website? Do you need an email list? Which social media platform should you use? How do you create a landing page? What the heck is a landing page? What are you going to sell? What if you don't even know exactly what your business is yet? Before long, you have 17 tabs open, a notebook full of ideas, and absolutely no idea what to do first. If that sounds familiar, this video is for you. Because the problem isn't that you're not capable of starting a business. The problem is that you're trying to answer every possible question before you've taken the first step into creating that business. And you do not need to build an entire business before you begin. You need a clear starting point, a simple plan, and support figuring out each next step as you get there. Hi, I'm Sarah. I help midlife women get organized, focused, and finally follow through, whether they're building a business, starting a side hustle, or creating the next chapter of their lives. And today I want to show you what you actually need to begin and what you can stop worrying about, at least for now. And before we go any further, if you already know this is you and you want support straight away, you can join us inside Life Mastery Circle. That's where we'll help you create your plan, choose your next step, and actually get it done. I'll tell you a little more about it at the end, but the link is if you're ready to go take a look. Now, starting a business today can feel much more complicated than it needs to be. You go online looking for one answer, and suddenly you're being told that you need a website, a funnel, an email sequence, a lead magnet, a content strategy, a personal brand, a podcast, a YouTube channel, and accounts on 4 different social media platforms. I'm tired just reading that out. And you haven't even decided what you're selling yet. Well, that advice isn't necessarily wrong. You may even eventually use some of those or all of them, but you do not need all of them today. Most of the advice you see online is showing you the finished business, not the version of that business. You're comparing your beginning with someone else's fifth, 10th, even 15th year. So, yeah, it feels overwhelming. It absolutely does. You're looking at everything they've built over several years and thinking you need to create it all before you're allowed to begin. You don't. A business begins when you help someone solve a problem and they are willing to pay you for that help. Everything else exists to support that exchange. For example, for me, I started with a blog called Money, Wine, and Cheese, wine with an H. And I helped women create a budget and get out of that. Okay. So I love doing that. And that blog followed my own journey, my experience of chaos to building a sustainable monthly budget. And I do it to this day. I loved writing that blog, but why didn't I continue with that blog? It simply evolved. I still think it's very valuable and I still use it in everything that I teach. But there was something missing that I only realized because I started it without having it all figured out. So I love the blog, the name, the writing, the talking about it, but I wasn't passionate about it. I liked that I was helping people. I liked that it was very tangible, but I just didn't love it to a point that I could talk about it all day, every day. Now I follow bloggers and some people on social media that do this day in, day out, and they're very creative in the personal finance space and they are passionate about it. And I realized that I was missing that passion, but at the same time, my business was evolving. And from a blog, a magazine began, and then something else began, and then something else. And then this is where we're at. And I feel very passionate about what I do today. And so I had to start somewhere. Would I have started where I am today? No. I didn't have the confidence. I didn't think I had the skills. I didn't think I could do it, to be honest. And so I started where I felt comfortable at the time. And now here we are. So this is your permission slip to start where you are with that idea. Okay? So for you, everything that you could have is support for your business. Your website supports it, your email list supports it, your content supports it, your payment system supports it. Those things are useful, but they are not the business itself. So let's simplify this. The first thing you need is someone you want to help. You don't have to create the perfect ideal client profile before you begin. You don't need to know what she drinks at Starbucks, what car they drive, or what she secretly worries about at 3 in the morning. You simply need to identify a real person or a group of people you understand and would like to help. So ask yourself, who do I understand? What have I experienced that could help someone else? What do people already ask me advice for? What problems do I genuinely enjoy helping people with? Perhaps you have spent years organizing events and could help small businesses plan theirs. Maybe you've learned how to manage your household finances and could help other women create a simple budget. Perhaps you know how to use Canva, organize a home, care for elderly parents, write a mean CV, grow vegetables, manage a team, or plan affordable holidays. These things that feel ordinary to you are very valuable to someone who doesn't know how to do them. You don't have to identify the one thing you will do for the rest of your life. You're choosing somewhere to begin. That is an important difference because a lot of women stay stuck because they think their first decision has to be permanent. It really doesn't. Your first offer is allowed to change, just like my blog changed. Your audience can become more specific, just like mine did. Your business will develop as you work with real people and discover what they actually need. You're not signing a lifetime contract, you're running your first experiment. Now, the second thing you need, a problem you can help solve. So, once you have a sense of who you want to help, think about the specific problem you can help the person solve. People usually don't buy a collection of information. They buy help getting from where they are to where they want to be, from point A to point B. So, I want to be a coach is an idea. I help women returning to work rebuild their confidence and prepare for interviews is much clearer. I want to sell printables is an idea. I create simple weekly meal planners for busy families who want to spend less on groceries. Begins to solve a problem. See the difference? I'm good at social media is a skill. I help local business owners create and schedule a month of social media content can become an offer. Think about the result you can help someone achieve. It doesn't need to be an enormous transformation. You do not have to change their whole life. You can help them complete one task, solve one frustration, learn one skill, or make one part of their life easier. Small, specific problems are often a very good place to start. Okay, the third thing you need, one simple offer. Try saying that very fast. This is where many new business owners make things unnecessarily complicated. So they try to launch three packages, a course, a membership, a digital product, and a subscription before they have sold anything. Don't do that. Start with one offer. What is one thing you could help someone do? You could offer a 1 hour consultation, a small service, a 2 week package, a simple workshop, a digital template, a beginner's class, a short coaching package. Choose something you can explain clearly and deliver confidently. You do not need 6 different pricing levels. You need to be able to say, this is who it is for, this is what it will help you do, and this is how it works, and this is how much it costs. And this is how you can get started. It's as simple as that. Your first offer does not have to be scalable, because sometimes the best way to begin is by working directly with a few people. You'll hear their questions, understand their language, learn which parts of your process are most valuable, and that experience can eventually help you create a course, a membership, or digital. But you don't have to start there. And all this information these people are giving you, that's feedback. That's information you are going to save and use for your future programs, classes, whatever you want to build. So it's important that you capture that, their words, what they're saying. Now, the fourth thing you need is one way to talk to people. You do not need to be everywhere. Please don't try to create daily content for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Pinterest when you're still trying to understand what your business is. Choose one primary channel to connect with potential clients. And that could be networking groups, it could be Facebook, it could be LinkedIn, it could be YouTube. It could simply be conversations with real people, with people you already know. Choose the place where the people you want to help are mostly likely to be at, and where you can realistically show up consistently. That's important. Consistency over everywhere. Then start talking about the problem you solve. Share useful information, answer questions, talk about what you're learning, explain common mistakes, show people what is possible. Let them dream and tell them how they can work with you. You don't need to sound like a marketing expert. You need to communicate clearly enough for the right person to recognize themselves and say, that's exactly what I need help with. The fifth thing you need, a way to get paid. This part can be extremely simple in the beginning. You do not need a complicated online shop or an elaborate checkout system. You need a safe, reliable way for someone to pay you and a clear process for what happens next. So, depending on where you live and the type of business you're creating, this might be a Stripe payment link, PayPal, an invoicing platform, or another payment system available in your country. Naturally, you should also check the business registration, tax, insurance, and invoicing requirements where you live. But from the customer's point of view, the process has to be real simple. They understand the offer, they agree to buy it, they pay, and they receive the information on what happens next. And that, my friend, is enough to begin. Now, what you don't need right now? Well, let's take a moment to remove a few things from your list. You probably don't need a full website yet. Nobody knows you exist. So, a simple landing page, booking page, clearly written document may very well be enough for your first offer. You don't need perfect branding. Choose a couple of colors, a readable font, and a clear photograph, and you can refine that later. And you don't need a huge audience. You need a small number of the right people who understand what you do. And you don't need an elaborate email funnel. Starting an email list is a good idea because it gives you a direct way to stay connected with people. But you can begin with one sign up page and one welcome email. You do not need 21 automated messages before you tell anyone about your business. And you definitely do not need to purchase every new tool someone recommends. Choose your tools in response to what you genuinely need. And if you need to collect email addresses, choose an email platform. And you can do that for free to begin with. If you need to accept payments, choose a payment tool. It can be free, some have, a fee. It's fine because you're not getting paid right now. So it's okay to pay a fee. You are in business, other people are in business, it's okay. If you need to book appointments, choose a scheduling tool. You can find some free ones out there as well. Don't build an enormous collection of software because you think having the tools will make you feel ready. It won't. It really won't. Using the tools to help real people is what creates a business. So, what can you actually do this week to start? First, write down who you think you'd like to help. Don't spend 3 days perfecting that sentence. Choose a starting point. Okay, just I help and fill the blank. Second, identify one problem you could help that person solve. If it's for busy moms, you can help them with meal planning, or you can help them with household budgeting or organization, whatever it is. Just think of something that you do, that you've been through, that helped you, that you can teach someone else. Third, turn that solution into one simple offer. So write down what you will help them do, how you will deliver it, how long it will take, and what you will charge. Fourth thing, talk to 3 real people, not 3 imaginary ideal clients in your notebook. Yeah, talk to 3 actual people. Tell them what you're considering, ask whether this is a problem they experience, ask what they have already tried, and what kind of help would be useful. You're not pitching them, you're not asking them to design your entire business for you. You're listening for the words they use and the problems they care about, the things they want to get fixed. And fifth, choose one action that puts the offer in front of somebody. That might mean sending a message, sharing a post, talking about it in a networking group, inviting someone to a conversation, or creating a very simple page. Your goal this week isn't to build everything. Your goal is to move from thinking about starting a business to testing a real idea with real people. You don't have to know every step before you begin. One of the biggest fears I hear from women starting a business is, what if somebody asks me something I don't know? Or what if I get started and then don't know what to do next? You will encounter things you don't know. We all do. It's life. You may need to learn how to create a landing page. You may need help choosing an email platform. You may have to work out how to price an offer, write a sales page, or create a payment link. But you don't need to solve all of those problems today. You solve each problem when it becomes the next problem. That is how a business is built. Not through one perfect plan created before you begin, but through a series of decisions, actions, conversations, and adjustments. You take one step and you see what happens. You learn from it, then you choose the next step. The ability to keep doing that is far more valuable than knowing every answer in advance. And hey, this is exactly why I created Life Mastery Circle, because most women don't need another course filled with 50 videos they'll never finish. They need somewhere to bring the question they're facing today. They need help deciding what matters now, what can wait, and what their next practical step should be. So inside Life Mastery Circle, we help you create a clear plan and put it into action. You'll have regular co-working sessions where you can stop thinking about the work and actually do the work. You'll have coaching, planning, support, practical workshops, and a community of women who are also building the next chapter of their lives. Some people are starting businesses, some are growing side hustles, some are working on creative projects or making changes in their personal lives. And you don't need to join with a finished business idea. That's the brilliance. You do not need to understand landing pages, email platforms, or sales funnels. You come in with an idea, a question, or simply the knowledge that you want to create something of your own, and will help you work through it one step at a time. So, if you've been thinking about starting something, but you don't want to spend the next 6 months trying to figure it out alone, you can come and join us inside the circle. The link is in the description below. And before you leave, please tell me in the comments, what is the biggest question stopping you from starting your business or side hustle right now? Is it not knowing which tools to use? worrying that you're too late, or simply not knowing what to do first. I do want to hear from you because I'll be creating more videos to help you work through these practical questions. And if this video helped you, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss them. And remember, you don't need to build a whole business today. You really don't. You only need to choose your first step and take it.